iPhone is Beth, I take it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and put Beth. Ah, Keith actually came in as Keith, not as owner or some other kind of thing.
Really? Hmm.
Hey, Keith Jagger. I just said you came in as Keith and not some other like owner or anything like that. You actually are labeled tonight.
Hmm.
Trish, did you want your camera on or?
Yeah, camera's on, it's fine.
Okay. I'll ask to start the video.
Here we are, start video, got it.
Oh,
Oh, I messed it up.
there you go. You're here. Hello, hello. And before we begin, next weekend I'll be at the beach, or next week I'll be at the beach. So there will be no getting together until August, or I'm sorry, September 12th. That'll be the next time.
Yeah. I was at the beach last week.
Ah, very good. Ocean City?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
The water is supposed to be very warm, right? Like with all the...
No, it was
No?
not warm, it was cold,
Oh, wow. Okay.
really cold.
All right. Oh, that's a little... Because I had read that like the Florida water, maybe it's different, was bathtub temperature, they were saying, because of El Nino or
Yeah,
El Nina or
I saw
whatever.
that, but in Ocean City,
water's
we
freezing cold.
had fairly rough water and it was cold. It was coming in,
Okay.
it was coming in from outside and it was colder than normal and rougher than normal.
Okay. Huh. So mostly pool then, or hang out, but not go in the ocean. And if you want to swim, go to the
Well, you
pool.
go in the ocean, but you just have to be hardy.
Right.
And you don't stay in as long as you normally would.
Right. Yeah, because there have been a couple of years I've gone in and it literally just tosses you around, and I'm only in for a short while because it's like, I'm not going to get beaten up by the waves, so I go
Well,
and just sit.
this was that kind of ocean. It was a rough ocean.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of dolphin.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, we lost Keith. Or maybe we didn't.
Did?
There's another.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
My little film strip, when more people come, it erases, you know what I mean? It pushes some of the people off. So, but you're here. I can see you. I just have to scroll.
It seems to be breaking up very slightly once in a while, but
Oh, I am? You're
no,
saying I am?
the
Keith?
sound was just getting like little. No, the sound was getting little glitches.
Oh, okay.
I never say I am.
Oh, okay. No, we actually aren't speaking about anything right now. Just
Yeah.
really
Just hanging
about,
out.
yeah, just hanging out. I said next week I'll be at the beach, so there will be no meeting. And the next one will be on the 12th. And it might also be pushed away from the 12th because friends of mine have invited me to the Tuesday at Outback. They have surf and turf for like $25. They have Tuesday Tales is what it's called. And I can't go because I was doing this, but I might go coming back from the beach. So I don't know. I'll put it here. Not to be selfish and self-centered, but
This That is kind of convenient though. Next Tuesday, I have something else that I didn't have to do, but I guess now I can next Tuesday.
There you go. Good, good.
The only thing I have to do is shut up.
No, it's
It's okay to talk, but not conceptualize.
yeah, well, the shutting up is everything is done within your own self. So then there's no disturbance. Like we were talking about people who go on silent retreats just to not speak, and yet all the mind activity they're still identified with, and it really does nothing other than you get an egoistic sense of I was silent all weekend long. Jai Guru, you know. So this
Well, there might be some time with yourself in amidst that. Though.
yeah, I mean, you know, but true silence is you can be very busy and you can be talking. You know, because when you're with your selfless self, you know, okay, I'm formless and all this activity is occurring within my own formless nature. So they're speaking and walking and talking and traveling to the beach and swimming and getting beaten by the waves, but it's not happening to me. I am not this.
There's a noticing of presence that is not that, not the speaking, right? It's like
Well, there's a knowing,
that's
and
going on.
Maharaj says conviction. The conviction that I am not body, I was not body, I'm not going to remain body. Because once you know yourself in a real sense, you cannot be this body anymore. You can't. You can't. Yes, you're using the body, but you're not the body. You know this. You can't be. It's not possible because you've identified yourself in a real sense. So there's no way you can be, quote, fooled again. Even when illusory thoughts come in, oh, but I could be the body or whatever, or doubts come or whatever. If you have conviction and you know yourself, this is all pushed aside because no, I'm not this. I can't be this. How can I be this form that lives and born and dies and has pain and gets bounced around by the ocean and all this sort of stuff when I know myself? And how can I even relate to the form-based existence in reality? Only within the illusion can I relate to the illusion. The reality is space is not affected by anything that goes on within inside of it. And you're more subtle than space. Space can be perceived. And so all of this is just, again, a long dream.
Whereas last week, I guess I made an inaccurate comment. I said, I think I know my true self. I think I know myself, but I also forget that quite often, most of the time. So,
well, it's no forgetting. Forgetting, remember, Maharaj talks about forgetting, but in reality, it's just your attention is directed away from yourself towards the illusion. But you're not actually forgetting or remembering yourself. You can't forget or remember yourself. Like how? How could you suddenly like forget you are and there's no existence? But that's not a possibility.
Good point.
Maharaj uses the forgetting and remembering and refreshing your memories and all that. But as he says many times, don't take these words literally. You know, you can't remember or forget yourself. Forgetting is just directed attention towards the body and the illusion and all of this, but you know yourself in a real sense. So even if you're directed towards out towards the illusion and towards the body-based seeming happenings, you know it's not true.
one thing I remember about, I don't think I can immediately think of his name, but the guy used to be with us all the time in the beginning, who was a minister or something at some point in his life.
Jesuit
Andrew.
priest Andrew.
Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, he was a
Andrew?
Jesuit priest.
One thing I do remember him talking about was that it's all about attention. You know, that the way you, I don't know, he just mentioned that. I just remember him talking about focusing on the attention makes kind of like the difference of where your sense of presence is going to be at, I guess.
Whether attention is on presence or whether our attention is on illusory things. But once you know yourself in a real sense, the attention can be on presence, almost like a stained glass window. The illusion is there, but the attention is on presence.
So you're not feeling the effects of the illusion so much.
No.
Yeah, Christian Murray talked a lot about attention also, but I think that what you're saying is that you're always aware of the presence, always aware of the true who you really are, even when you move around in the illusion, you don't lose it because it's a conviction.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Maharaj says, like, somebody calls you Beth. And now when somebody says, hey, Beth, you answer, oh, Beth is here. Yeah. It's part of you. You've become one with this name, Beth. So when you know yourself in the real sense, you've become one with this selfless self. And now, regardless of what's happening, just as if you were, outside and somebody said, hey, Beth, even if you were in a foreign country and someone said, hey, Beth, you'd say, oh, yes, this is Beth. Yes. The same now with selfless self, regardless of the illusion, you know yourself, the conviction, oh, so that I am that. I was not body, I am not body, I'm not going to remain the body. Body's not my identity. And therefore, if somebody says disparaging things against the body, okay, well, it's not me.
Right.
And if somebody says, oh, Beth, you're the best. Oh my gosh, how did people make such a wonderful you? And okay, but they're not really speaking about me. And yet in the illusion, you can say, oh, thank you very much. This and this. Oh, Beth, you're a wonderful human being. Thank you very much.
Right.
But inwardly, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I have trouble with the illusionary part when it comes to dealing with adversities.
But in dealing with adversity, you can remain with yourself as self. If you sense that subtle sense of presence, you can drop back into that anytime. And not, even in the illusion, you say pause. Okay, pause and sort of know yourself and then move from this point, because you're not taking the touch of I am someone, I am something, and there needs to be something done.
Yeah, I'm much better at being non-reactive to those situations and making the pause, but then I tend to get the mind chatter and the perseveration after the fact. And so
mind chatter is okay. Mind is flow of thoughts. You just don't identify with the thoughts. Maharaj has said, which thought to accept, which thought not to accept is completely up to you.
Easy.
And when you remain with that selfless self, just I, that sense of presence, that is the great black hole that sucks in all illusory concepts, thoughts, everything. It's just a nothing. And then you can proceed from this space. Okay. And this is that. And remember again, as long as, Maharaj has said, as long as you're holding a 5 elemental body, there will be disturbances in the 5 elements. Perfect example, the hurricane that's coming to Florida. This is a disturbance in the 5 elements. Wind, rain, all this sort of thing is coming. And as long as you're holding a 5 elemental body, there will be disturbance in the 5 elements. You just don't identify with like, I am depressed, or I am anxious, or I am this or that. Maybe a thought comes, you don't accept this thought. It just goes, you're not trying to even push it away. The problem comes when you say, this thought I like, this thought I don't like, this thought I can't have. Oh, I don't want to think about this. I think Maharaj talked about like the pink elephant. You say, okay, don't think about pink elephant while you're meditating. Ah, now, the whole time you're meditating,
Right.
pink elephant. But the truth is, if you don't pay attention to this, then it's like Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, when the person came to Bombay or Mumbai or whatever, and he was staying there, and he had a terrible night's sleep. He said, oh, it's so noisy and this and that. And the other person slept very nicely because they weren't paying attention to the noise. Once you start to pay attention to the noise, the barking dog, the noise outside, it then becomes inside. And then you're internalizing this noise. Because, oh, I can't stand this. It can't be. It has to go away. But when you remain with your selfless self, even in the noise, you can quite nicely fall to sleep because you're just remaining with your selfless self. The mind activity can't flow if it's almost like molasses. It's like, okay, these thoughts can't go so fast because now you're this open space, so to speak. And so thoughts they can't just race by. You're not paying attention to them. You're not giving them any kind of life. Your attention gives CPR to a thought that's not needed because then this thought is identified with as my thought and it starts to cause a disturbance where there actually is none. So you start, again, fighting illusory people and creating illusory problems. You remain with yourself as self. That's why meditation is so important, because if you've done the meditation and you've sat, okay, this body sitting for meditation. And then you start to sense this subtle, subtle, subtle sense of presence, this just I, this I am, I exist. And this is where in meditation now, you try to concentrate on the concentrator. In doing so, you now know yourself. Maharaj has said, this is your selfless self. Nisargadatta Maharaj says, remain with the I am. Sri Ramakant Maharaj says, this selfless self, this subtle feeling, this just I. Okay. It's felt only because you're holding a body. You can dip your cup into the nectar of immortality. Oh, so that I am that. Now, as you're walking around and doing your daily activities, because the world is going to continue as long as you're holding a 5 elemental body. The world, so to speak, the conceptual world is no more. The objects moving around and the activities and spontaneous action in the moment, you're doing your job, you're doing your duties, taking care of your responsibilities. As this day progresses, you can easily, at any time, you know yourself now you seek yourself. Be with you always, rather than being with the whole illusion. That's why Maharaj says this I needs to dissolve. And the I is held together because you're identifying with the flow of thoughts as I am somebody else. It's not true. If you remain with your selfless self, nothing. Scenes appear and disappear. You're doing in the moment, another scene, another scene. Channel surfing, totally into the moment. Channel moves, now a new channel, totally into the moment, but not worrying about what happened in the last scene or whether there's going to be a next scene. Because it's just scene. It's just like a film strip that just keeps going. And you just, and Maharaj, like he said, everything is moving around you. You're not actually moving. These scenes are just appearing and disappearing before you. Yes, you're holding a body. However, you're holding all the bodies. So you're the formlessness that animates all of everything, and yet can't be involved in any of it. Going back to dream, lay down at sleep. Deep sleep, nothing. A stirring, I exist, dream world projected. You're a little person inside your dream world, and you're having activities within the dream. Everything's created formlessly and spontaneously. You know this when you wake up. Everything that you experienced was absolutely untrue, even though at the time, because of identification with the dream body form, it appeared real, real, real. And it's not true. Spontaneous conviction, I am not body, I was not body, I'm not going to remain body. Same thing. How can this be true? I have a little dream body in a little dream world, and that's it. But I know myself in a real sense. All of this is arising formlessly. There is no form, so to speak, just like there is no form, so to speak, in a dream. But inside a dream, you can knock on a door, but it's all formless.
So when we when we do have to deal with the body, we do have to make, or the mind has to anyway, make some calculations. But I guess that doesn't mean I have to even say the calculations are really present. They're just they might be accurate, they might not.
It's all
But they're
within the
not.
illusion.
Yeah.
Just like the fish, if you have two little fish in a fish tank, and they go on an adventure and swim all around, they're just within the tank. Everything, every experience you've ever had, every word you've ever said, every word you've ever heard, all learning, all knowledge, all activity is within the bubble of illusion, brought about by body and taking credit for the body's actions as my action. But it's all within the bubble of illusion. And again, from the dream, you're the dreamer. Regardless of how the characters are behaving within the dream, you're truly not any of that.
So in a sense, I'd still be aware that calculations are going on, but there's
Calculations
strictly,
in what sense?
well, like if I'm thinking, okay, I have to go to the bathroom, so I have to get up. I got to think, well, I have to move from my present position to a new position. And
This
I gotta
is
find
most
my way
definitely
to-
spontaneous action, especially in the middle of the night. Body gives the signal, have to urinate. Okay, body is moving from one position, going to the bathroom, coming back and sleeping. You could sleepwalk
Oh.
this. This is spontaneous action in the
Yeah.
moment. I am
Yeah.
absolutely positive, unless you wet the bed, that you don't sit there and you wake up and you say, okay, now, Keith, we're going to move Keith's legs off the bed onto the floor, and then one foot in front of the other, we're going to go to the bathroom. No. As Maharaj says, everything is pick up the water, drink the water, put it down, and forget it.
So, so I guess I gotta watch where I'm making projections well,
Who's making
sim-
projections?
just not even take the touch of the projections that might be indicating that there's something more to a situation.
But you know yourself in the real sense. The entire world is appearing within you. The body, Keith, is not you. It's a rental for a time. But in reality, all the bodies are just appearances within the formlessness, again, just like the dream. In a dream, you could attend a funeral of a friend, and yet that friend was your own self. You know this because you wake up and you say, wow, all that was myself. In fact, this whole dream was, I was dreaming. And when you know yourself in the real sense, it's the same. Now, that doesn't mean you can't attend a friend's funeral or a friend's wedding or any of these things, because again, it's all within the bubble of illusion. You know yourself in the real sense. You don't have to give yourself away. You don't have to say, Keith is going to do X, Y, Z. It's just a scene that's appeared. That's how it is anyway. Even when you were heavily identified with the body as your own self, the reality was this. Scenes are appearing and disappearing. Somebody says, Keith, we're going to the movies on Saturday at 1:45. And you're not, from now until Saturday 1:45, you're not thinking and planning all of this. And yet, you'll wind up at the theater at 1:45.
Or maybe not, but.
Or maybe not, but it's not a constant, like, it's just scenes appearing and disappearing. Here we are. When this ends, this goes away, boom, all the squares go away. And we go and do whatever we were doing, watch TV or eat some dinner or do whatever. But it's just another scene.
Mm.
There's no like counting the minutes in between. Just breathing in and breathing out. Imagine if you had to control that your own self. Every time you fell asleep, you would either have to wake up, you couldn't sleep,
Right.
or you would die because you'd have to be constantly sitting there. Okay, I'm breathing in. Okay, now I'm breathing out. Okay, now I'm breathing in. Okay, now my heart, pumping the heart. Okay, yes. I need to pump it a little faster now because I'm walking. No, all of these are just spontaneous actions. Nisargadatta Maharaj very nicely says, in the womb, nobody was saying, oh, I hope my thumb grows this way, or I hope this finger is this way, or how about my arm? Is it going to be as long as the other arm, or will one be longer, or whatever? The same one that took care of you in the womb is taking care of you now. The only concept is that I'm somebody and I need to somehow take care of myself. But in reality, this story is playing out within your own selfless self. There's no taking care of yourself. You are that. The story of the dinosaurs occurred within you. And the story of maybe we have like Jetsons years from now, that'll also occur within you. Even if we do discover aliens, those aliens will still only be your own selfless self. because you are the only reality. Even when we use the language leaving the body, there's no leaving the body because there's nowhere to go. That's just like if you were to say that one of your dream characters dies and rejoins the universal consciousness of your dream, but you wake up. How? All this individualized consciousness is then going to go to the greater consciousness. It'll become part of the dream and it'll somehow carry on. No, you wake up, it's finished. Because it wasn't true. Body's a 5-elemental body, and just like a piece of fruit, if you leave it out for too long, it deteriorates, kind of melts and whatever. Same with this body. This body no longer is able to sustain the essence, and it won't move around, and there won't be any kind of activity. But still, all the other activity and everything else is going on quite nicely. There's no gain, no loss. This just die. Very, very subtle sense of presence. Nothing can happen to this. This can't be born, can't die. This sense of existence has appeared to that which existed and had no knowledge of existence. The knowledge of existence created the sense of I am, I exist, I am here. But this is illusion. The birth of illusion, actually, the very first step of illusion. And that's why Nisargadatta Maharaj says, on this side of the I am is reality, and on this side is the illusion. You step through the door. And again, don't take the words literally. There's no stepping through anything. But the sense of existence has appeared to that you are. And along with this sense of existence, that's the knowledge. So many things came. The only knowledge that has any value whatsoever is the knowledge of your existence. I exist. All the projection, you're not the projection, you're the projector. None of that makes any difference. All the body-based relations, all the body-based knowledge, all the everything makes no difference. The sense of existence, your own sense of existence, is the only actual, like, real thing, so to speak. I exist. And not I, this I, or that I, or that I, or that I. I exist. The subtle sense of presence that is felt within the body-based illusion. I exist. I am. But that one to whom this existence has appeared, whether the existence is there or not there. If you don't sense your own existence, you still exist.
Do you know it by being it? You still know you exist?
You are all there is. There is nothing other to know. So there's no faculty of knowing unless you first know the sense of existence. I exist. Awareness aware of nothing because there's nothing to be aware of other than your own self.
Sometimes I'll enter a state where I feel naturally totally present, well, at least the last time about a week ago, I entered it really. It seemed like really definite, and it made me feel like super happy or something. It was like a really strong natural high or something. But that was still just an experience, a temporary.
Yes. It's selfless self-intoxication, basically to sort of train your attention, your brain, your awareness, whatever you want to say, to your own self and away from the illusion. And the deeper you go within your own self, selfless self-intoxication is very wonderful because you're not disturbing yourself with anything other, and you just remain. But again, this is where you get the doorway. Okay, I'm identifying as this sense of presence. It feels so wonderful. It's so nice. It's so good. But now you know that this knower of the knowledge of existence, that's the other side of the door.
It's
That's
like
the reality.
it's like a nothing. I mean, you can't. But it's present somehow. Nothing but present.
You sense presence because you're holding a body. And again, holding a body. These are words. Don't take the words literally, like there's a ghost inside of you or something like this. This is no. Dream is the best example.
Yes.
The dream consciousness is forming and creating everything that you see within the dream, creating the scenes within the dream, powering all the people that are in your dream, also making the sun or the moon or the river or what, all of this. And when you wake up, you know it was all your own self. When you know yourself in a real sense, this waking dream is exactly the same. There's no difference between waking consciousness and dream consciousness, other than previously when you identified with the body, I am awake or I am asleep. But there's no sleeping and there's no waking. And you remain with your selfless self. Body may be there, body may not be there, but you are.